We're about to go deep inside the human brain to see how a substance like amphetamine can literally hijack its circuits and take control. We're going to explore the science, sure, but we'll see it all through the eyes of someone who lived it, someone whose brain was taken hostage. This quote, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? That's from a man named Ajia, and he perfectly captures that terrifying loss of control. This isn't a story about willpower. It's about a brain being hijacked. So who is this man, Aja? Well, for 14 years, he was a disciplined decorator, building a career, building a life, until one single decision sent everything into a tailspin. What's just staggering when you look at this is the speed. I mean, think about it. 14 years of building a stable life. Then he tries amphetamine, thinks it's some kind of magic pill to help him work longer. Just 6 months later, he's lost an incredible 64 kilograms. And in 3 short years, his whole world has collapsed. How on earth does something like this happen so fast? Well, the answer is deep inside our brain's chemistry. To really get how a brain can be hijacked, we first have to understand how it normally deals with pleasure. You can almost think of it like happiness currency. And the main player in the system, the actual currency, is a little chemical called dopamine. It's the brain's way of telling you, hey, that was good, let's do that again. It's what motivates us. And here's what that natural system looks like. So when you eat an amazing meal or have a great laugh with your friends, your brain pays you a little salary of dopamine. It's this nice, gentle reward that makes you want to do those healthy, good-for-you things again. It's a really well-balanced system. But what happens when something like amphetamine just crashes the party? Well, that carefully balanced economy in your brain is about to face a hostile takeover. And this slide right here is the whole story. So that tasty dessert might give you a nice little 100% bump in dopamine. Feels good, right? But amphetamines? We are talking a spike of over 1,000%. That's not a bump. That's not a reward. That's a dopamine tsunami that completely floods the entire system. So down at the microscopic level, what's happening is that amphetamine acts like a skeleton key. It basically kicks down the door to your nerve cells and forces them to dump all their stored dopamine at once. It just short circuits everything, creating this intense high the brain was never, ever designed to handle. Now, faced with this constant, overwhelming flood, the brain does the only thing it can to defend itself. It starts shutting down. It physically removes dopamine receptors, kind of like a city boarding up its windows during a hurricane. This is called tolerance, and it means now you need more and more of the drug just to feel normal, let alone high. And that brings us right back to what Agia said. He tried to cut back, he tried to control his use, but it was useless. The damage was already done. His brain had already rewired itself to survive the flood, and in doing so, it had built its own trap. And this is one of the most tragic parts of it all. As the brain gets used to that tsunami, the little things, a good meal, hanging out with friends, listening to music, they just don't produce enough dopamine to even register anymore. The brain literally loses its ability to feel joy from everyday life. The only thing that works is the drug. So I want to be really clear here. This isn't a moral failure, it's a physiological one. We're talking about a disease where the brain's actual hardware gets physically changed, held hostage by a chemical. So, what are these physical changes? Well, research shows us that addiction systematically alters the brain in at least 4 huge ways. It messes up that reward circuit we've been talking about, it builds tolerance, it rewires our stress response, and this is a big one, it seriously impairs our ability to make decisions. Let's really focus on that last one. The part of your brain right behind your forehead, the prefrontal cortex. Think of it as your brain's CEO. It's the braking system. It's in charge of judgment, of impulse control, while amphetamine use physically damages this area. It's like getting in a car and finding out someone has cut the brake lines. Even if you want to stop, you physically can't. And when that damage gets bad enough, it can lead to something truly terrifying: psychosis. The brain's wiring gets all crossed up. It becomes faulty. And for the user, this creates a new reality, one filled with paranoia and hallucinations that feel 100% real. For Ajaya, this wasn't just some theory. He heard voices. They told him his mother had been shot and his father was hurt. He didn't just think it happened, he knew it happened. He raced to the hospital, crying, and waited for hours for an ambulance that was never going to arrive, because the entire tragedy was a hallucination created by his brain. And this is where the failing brakes have the most chilling consequences. The voices didn't stop. They gave him a command. They told him to go kill a man, giving him a name and address. And he listened. He grabbed a knife and walked out onto the streets, a puppet completely at the mercy of the faulty wiring in his own skull. He was only stopped because the police found him first. After hitting absolute rock bottom, being arrested, seeing the horror he was causing his family, Hijack's story finally takes a turn. But the road to recovery is long. It's a journey of healing not just the spirit, but the brain itself. For the longest time, Hijack thought, like so many people do, that this was a life sentence, that there was no way out. His father tried desperately to help him, but it was only after his arrest that Hijack finally agreed to go to rehab. At that point, he felt like he had absolutely nothing left to lose. And this is where we see something amazing about the brain. It has this incredible ability called neuroplasticity. It can literally change and rewire itself. Recovery isn't just about willpower, it's about actively rebuilding. With therapy, exercise, and just time, the brain can slowly start to pave new, healthy roads, creating detours around those deep, dark paths carved by addiction. Hijack's story is absolutely one of hope. He's proof that recovery is possible, but he leaves us with this final, heavy thought. You can stop the drugs. The brain can begin to heal. But the human cost, the lost time, the broken trust, the pain you cause the people you love, those are wounds that take so much longer to mend. It's a powerful reminder that the price of hijacking your brain is paid long, long after the high is gone.